Well, it's the start of probably the busiest season all year, back to school, and then there are all the fall sports and the holidays are right around the corner. Are you already feeling overwhelmed thinking about next year? I know how easy it is to feel like you're constantly behind, trying to manage all the moving parts of a busy life. If you've been searching for a simple way to get organized and focus on what truly matters, then I have something special to share with you today. We're going to explore a system designed to bring more calm and clarity to your plans. Hi, I'm Kristen, and I post functional planning and simple goal setting videos on my channel. If you're like me and you need a gentle reminder to just keep it simple, please make sure you're subscribed, and I'll be right back. Okay, before we get started, I just want to let you know about my partnership with Cultivate What Matters. I am an affiliate, and I'm so grateful to partner with them for this launch. They generously gifted me several pieces from this collection so that I could give you a full tour, including my one-year PowerSheets that I'll be using all year, the weekly planners I'm going to show you, and the accessories. I also purchased a few of the items myself because I wanted to be able to show you the complete system, including the daily planners, as well as my Goal School Premium membership. The best part about this partnership is that it allows me to share a coupon code with you. So I have a 10% off coupon for your whole order, which I'll share right now on the screen, and it'll also be in the description. If you use my affiliate link to shop, the coupon will automatically apply to your order, or you can just type it in. So the theme for the 2026 PowerSheets launch is for every season. And basically these are tools that are designed to meet us right where we are, no matter what season we are in life. I love this because for me, it has been very helpful to acknowledge the seasons of my life and to recognize that everything that I want in life is not going to come in the same season. I can kind of be an impatient person and rush through goal setting because I get so inspired and motivated. But it's really great to kind of have that reminder that I don't have to go so hard all at once, you know? I really do think that this collection is a solution for living with more clarity and focus toward my goals so that I can be intentional when I'm making my plans all year. Okay, so I think that you probably really just want to see all the covers first, and then we will do a flip through of the planners, and then we'll talk about some of the accessories and Goal School Premium. So let's start with just the covers that I have, and then we'll start going into the insides of the books. So your one-year PowerSheets come in a box, as well as your season-by-season planners, and these are really, really nice gift boxes. And of course, the band here kind of gives you a little spoiler about the cover I chose, which is Navy Blooms. It's beautiful. And I've already opened this, but when you receive your package in the mail, it's going to be wrapped very lovingly with some nice tissue paper and a little sticker, but I wanted to flip through these to kind of familiarize myself with them first before I spoke with you about them. But this is the Navy Blooms cover. It's a dark navy background with these beautiful florals and all of the colors of the collection, and you can kind of see the gold foil detail kind of shining here. And it's just gorgeous. I have wanted a navy floral from Cultivate for so long now, and they listened, and I am just in love with this. As soon as I saw this, I was like, yep, that's mine. So here's what the back looks like, and you can see all of the different florals that Cultivate does so well that you're going to recognize from some of the stickers you probably already have, and the colors all match, so everything is very thoughtfully designed and coordinated with things you probably already have, which is so nice because I've kind of been on a journey of trying to use what I have, and this is going to help me do that and not feel like I need to get a whole new set of things, you know? I love that about the new design, and I just love that the more you look at this, the more you see little details in there, and it's just so much fun. Okay, so let's look at the other covers. I have the season by season daily and the season by season weekly, and you can see which colors I have here. But what I'm going to do, instead of opening these up, I'm just going to show you the Fresh Start because they're the same colors, and these are already out of the boxes. So this is Berry, and this is a new color that you don't really see Cultivate using very much. It's like a very deep, like wine kind of like pinkish red, and I love it. And I'm not even like the biggest fan of reds and dark pinks, but this is just so nice. So the solid ones are in this nice like wipeable linen. The printed navy blooms is like a wipeable chipboard. So this is like a more smooth texture, and this is more of like a linen texture, but they're both very sturdy and very durable. And you can just see how pretty that looks with the navy blooms together. So good. Berry is Cultivate's answer to the summer season, and so it's just a fresh, fun, punchy berry color when you think of like strawberries and summer and all of that. The winter season is represented by Snowfall, which is just this very calm, pale, icy blue, and it's so good. And you can see how this one also matches with the navy blooms so nicely. And it really just depends on like your vibe, right? Here is your Snowfall. It's really just a very icy, pale, calm, cool toned blue. And then some of the other covers, I will go ahead and put the other two cover options on the screen because I don't have those in person, but you can get the PowerSheets in any of these three, as well as Leaf, which is this nice green that you see here in the navy blooms. And then you can also get Acorn, which is like a fawn kind of beige-ish brown. It's like a camel color. It's very nice, and this is going to be your neutral. All of the other colors have colorful tabs, and then if you would like neutral tabs, you're going to have you'll be able to choose the Acorn cover, and that has tabs that match the Acorn. On the inside of the navy blooms, the berry, the Snowfall, and the leaf covers, you will have the navy blooms pattern, and on the inside pocket of the Acorn, you'll have the Acorn pocket. And then one more note about the covers. For your season by season, you can have the berry and the Snowfall covers on either the weekly or the daily. And then the Fresh Start Weekly comes in Snowfall and Berry, and Fresh Start Daily comes in Berry. So now let's go through the planners. We're going to go through the PowerSheets, and then we'll talk about the season by season, and then we will talk about Fresh Start. So let's move all of these out of the way and make some room for our 2026 PowerSheets. PowerSheets are for those of us who have really big dreams but feel overwhelmed about where to start. This is the planner for you if you want to plan out a full year of goals and map them out across the entire year so that you can work on them little by little. PowerSheets have a really robust system of prep work at the beginning. All of these pages are designed to gently walk you through setting your goals for the upcoming year and figuring out how to pace yourself so that you don't burn out early in the year, which is something that I always had a problem with before I started working with the PowerSheet system. If you're familiar with PowerSheets and used them in 2025, there aren't many changes, but there are a few subtle things that I will point out as we go through here. And if you're not familiar with PowerSheets, then stay tuned because we're going to do a full walkthrough of this. So when you first open your PowerSheets, you'll see the pocket in the front, and we have a couple of things in here, including a new thing. So in the past, we've always had this wonderful Word of the Year card, and there are pages in the planner to help you figure out what your Word of the Year should be. And then you can write it on here and then put this where you're going to see it all the time. And then now the new addition for 2026 is that we have another card called What Matters Most. And this is just another thing to tack up where you're going to see it all the time, perhaps a vision board, maybe your refrigerator, or in your daily planner, where it will just remind you why you're working towards the goals you're working towards. I love that. I'm a very out of sight, out of mind person, and so having something like this to constantly remind me is really nice. And then you're going to have your 2026 year at a glance on one side of this card, and then all of the holidays and important dates that you might want to note throughout your planner. And then there is a nice fun sticker sheet. Lots of functional stickers here with the signature gold foil that Cultivate uses, and of course the colorway that we know and love. We've got some really pretty florals as well as a couple of dots for each color. I know that's hard to see, but there are 2 dots in each one of these bars. We've got some little hearts, a couple of little page flags that say remember and this matters. These I will show you where they go in the planner, but these are just some little gold foil circles with the sprout in them. We have some colorful banner flags here that coordinate with the different life categories, some quotes, and these are monthly reset stickers for the whole year. So you could put these on your monthly calendar so that you can make time for yourself to review your goals and plan for the upcoming month. Then, so you have your name page here with the signature gold foil and a spot to write your name. And of course the beautiful design is carried throughout the planner. And you'll see the mission page and just an information on how to use PowerSheets and what you're going to be doing throughout your PowerSheets journey. And then here we have the roadmap that's called A Year of Project Progress, Not Perfection. And this was a new addition for the 2025 PowerSheets. And this is where you're going to use those circle stickers that I showed you on the sticker sheet. They kind of go here as you go through to kind of hold your place and figure out what you're doing as you're working through your prep work. I love this. It's so much fun. It helps kind of take that daunting task of working on your goals before the new year starts. It just kind of breaks it down and helps you work on them without kind of overwhelming yourself and trying to do it all at once. Then you turn the page and you have some more like engaging and functional worksheets here. We have another little like kind of like a game board is what I think of it, is every month you can kind of check off the things that you're doing. The pink ones are your monthly tending lists and the blue ones are your quarterly refreshes. And it starts here and just kind of meanders throughout, kind of like a little game board here. And I just love that because checking things off is so much fun, and just seeing that you're making progress is even more fun. You have your brainstorm your year ahead page, and I really like this as just a brain dump. It's a scratch page. This is kind of going to help you develop those thoughts about what you want your goals to be. Make sure you're like getting messy on these pages too. I know the planner is beautiful, and those of us that can have perfectionist tendencies might be kind of like daunted by this blank page and trying to make it look just right and perfect. Don't do that. Just completely forget about this. This is a book for you and for your goals. It's not for other people to look at and judge or decide if it's pretty or not. Just really just get in there and use your handwriting. Who cares if it's messy? Who cares if you cross things out? Just pour it all out here, and then this is really going to help you kind of like dial in as the pages go forward. Then you have here, come alive again and name what fires you up. This is another kind of like brainstorming section to get you really thinking about what really matters so that you can start connecting the goals that you want to achieve with why you want to achieve them and why they're important. And then as you turn the page, you can reflect on the past. And this is also really, really good because this is something that if you're not thinking about how things went in the past, then you don't really have a good viewpoint about how you can move forward. What might be in the way? What might how do you normally react to setbacks or achievements? And that kind of insight can really help you make better choices so that you can see success going forward. And then here we have evaluate where you are now, and this is the cultivated life evaluation. There's lots of learning here for working through these pages. Don't be daunted by these. You're just gonna kind of score how you feel about each of the categories, and I like to make some notes in each one about why I chose that score because I find that really insightful as I'm working through my goal setting for the upcoming year. If you are familiar with PowerSheets and you have an eagle eye, you might be able to see that there is a very subtle change here. It's hard to see probably on camera, but Cultivate has swapped the colors of 2 of our life evaluation categories, and that is the family category and the spiritual and personal growth category. So family used to be this berry red color, and spiritual and personal growth used to be the yellow color, and all they've done is just swapped those out for each other. We haven't changed any of the colors, so all of your color coding tools that you already have and love will still work. You're just switching the yellow and the pink. And then the next page, we have the mindset pages, and this is really important too, because sometimes we can think maybe we're not good at something, and that is like our excuse to hold ourselves back and have some self-sabotage. But changing your mindset can be really helpful to move forward, and we've got some learning here on how to do that. And then on the next pages, we have the Naming What Matters page, which is when you're 80, when you're towards the end of your life, what will have mattered in your life and what won't. And knowing that now will help you make decisions to pursue things that will have mattered and maybe not worry so much about the things that won't have mattered. This is another change here on the Making Decisions page. So in the past it said what I'm saying yes to and what I'm saying no to. Well, instead of having that like absolute yes and no, Cultivate has kind of like gently changed the wording and the language here to what I want more of and what I want less of, because it's kind of like almost impossible to have, yes and no all the time. Sometimes we do have to, make those decisions on what we want more of and what we want less of instead of yes and no all the time. And this just kind of helps reframe your mindset around those kinds of decisions. And the next pages are the fun. This is like a Mad Lib page if you're my age and you're familiar with those kinds of activities. I guess they're around for kids now too, but this is just something that I just think is so much fun. It's just fill in the blanks of your purposeful year, and it just kind of helps you kind of like create that like manifesto of what you want 2026 to be like, and you can always refer back to the other pages you've already filled out to help you fill in these blanks here. Then we start moving into the goal setting pages, and this is the fun part for me. It's also very overwhelming, and that's just why I appreciate all of the space that Cultivate gives us to kind of work through those things before we have to start making big decisions on the goals. We have a scratch page here which lists all of your cultivated life evaluation categories, and you can just kind of use this to think about the types of goals you want to set for yourself in the upcoming year. This isn't the goal page, so feel free to get messy on these pages and cross things out. If you're not familiar with the cultivated life evaluation categories, they are community, home and spaces, family, spiritual and personal growth, finances, work and learning, and health and wellness. And then there is a blank category that you can choose for yourself. So in 2025, I chose to make this just be self-care and hobbies, which could fall under personal growth. Since I've been more focused on the spiritual part of the personal growth category in 2025, I kind of broke out the personal growth category and made that its own. So, I like that we have a blank one that you could use however you want, or you don't even have to use it. The next pages are just learning pages about the Bloom acronym. That is, if you're familiar with SMART goals, this is Cultivate's like answer to that with Bloom, which is break it down little by little, on purpose, on a schedule, and measurable. And the next page talks a little more about the break it down part of the Bloom system. And this kind of gives you some examples on how you can break down a yearly goal into quarterly goals and the different types of goals that you can break a yearly goal into. The next page, we have this beautiful floral page that says, dreams become decisions when you cultivate them. And this is going to be your yearly goal page. So this is where, after you've brainstormed all of your goals and kind of like thought them through and how you could break them down, this is where you're going to go ahead and write them in. And this is also a great spot to use the page flags here, or the little banner flags, so you can pick the color that matches the category and put that here on these little printed page flags, or you can just color these in if you like. You also don't have to use them all. You can have more than one for each goal category. You could have one for each goal category. You could just do 4, or you could fill all 8 of them out. You can use this however you want. If you don't have some major goals for each category, just ignore them this year. This is that season in your life that you don't need to work on that goal, or you're just not able to devote the mental energy or physical energy to that goal, that's okay. Don't do it. It also says here to remember that you have permission to change your mind and change course throughout the year, which is a great reminder and something I have done all year long. And throughout the book, you're going to have opportunities to refresh these goals too. Writing them down here helps you commit to them, but you also have that opportunity to reframe them throughout the year as things happen. As you live your life and learn more about yourself and your goals, those things are naturally going to change. And that's what I love about this system, is that it's gentle enough and flexible enough to let you kind of like adjust as you move forward, because that's what it's all about. And then we have It's Time to Bloom Where You're Planted, and the following pages are all going to be your goal action pages. So there are 8 of these 2-page spreads, one for each goal category or each goal that you might have. And again, you don't have to use all of them, but because there's 8 on here, you have room to map them all out, all 8 of them out here. And what it is, it's a 2-page spread where you write your goal and why you're motivated to achieve it. And then there's just some prompts here to help you think through your goal a little more. And then this page is really good because it helps you break it into those quarters that we talked about here on this page. So you can actually write out what you might do in each of the seasons so that you can pace yourself for success. At the bottom, you can name that first step and when you will do it, which is also really important because maybe that goal doesn't make sense to start until the summertime. And so that's when you write it here, and you're not just ignoring it, you're just deferring it until that season begins. So, you know, if something can't happen during the winter, such as planting your summer garden, right? That wouldn't happen in the winter. So you could just leave that blank and then put like whatever you need to start doing to prep for that in the springtime. Okay, and then so you have your 8 of these pages to kind of get you through all of those goals you might have, all those annual goals you might have set for yourself. And then after the 8th one, we have a dot grid notes page that says to everything there is a season. And then here we have pace yourself for success. And this is where you're going to go through all of your goal action plans and find the different seasons. And you're going to be able to break that down even further. So this is a full year. You have season 1, 2, 3, and 4. And they're broken into January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. So this one, you would go through and find all of your things that you wrote for season 1 on all of these pages, and you can start slotting them into the months that they make sense to do it in. And then that way you have an overview of all of your goals and what you're going to be doing in each month of each season, which will then be helpful when you set up your plans for each month. You can come back here, find the January box, and put all of those on your tending list. And I just love that. That's just like the little step-by-step process really takes all of the guesswork and the overwhelm out of setting goals every month. Okay, and then this is where I referred to at the beginning of making your word for the year, and there's just some information here on how to figure out what that could be for you, and another spot to write it down here and commit to it. And then we have another dot grid page for notes, and it says believe in what you can't yet see. And then another blank page here that says visualize what's ahead. And you might want to make a vision board on these pages, or just take some notes about the types of things that you want to do and how you could achieve them. Anything you want. You could draw pictures, you could paste photos, you could print out and glue in just vision board things, put quotes on here, your favorite scripture, anything. It's just for you to just kind of like visualize what this year is going to look like as you achieve your goals. And then we have some more learning pages here, living it out, how to use all of the pages coming up. And then of course, you're going to want to bookmark this page. This is how to make your tending list. And you will want to refer to this every month. Yes, even if you know how to make a tending list and you've been doing it for ages, just reviewing this really does help. And then the next page, you have a dot grid notes page again that says celebrate all the tiny victories. And then just a spot to think about perfection and how that is going to affect your plans and just the perfectionism. And I always need this reminder. I'm a recovering perfectionist, so I really appreciate this page. And then we have one more dot grid page that says choose purpose over perfection. And this is where we go into the months. So at the beginning in January, there's going to be some quarterly setup pages. And then throughout the rest of the year, those quarterly setup pages will be in the last month of the quarter. So we have them in January, March, June, and September. At the beginning of January, you have your monthly reset with important to-dos, goals to make progress on my calendar, on my mind, and a space for your cultivated life evaluation check-in. These numbers are going to help you determine what you might want to focus a little more on, what needs some more nurturing in that month. We have our monthly calendar, which is a Sunday start, and you have a dot grid sidebar, and each month has a core truth on it. So this is dated for 2026. And then this is one of the quarterly planning pages. So this is not going to be in every month, but it's going to be in those months where I said there are quarterly pages. Although this page here is just some learning on habits and routines and such, that is only going to be found up here in the front. So you might want to bookmark this one as well so that you can refer back to it every quarter when you redo your routines. And here we have a spot to figure out what your morning routine, your evening routine, your weekend reset routine, and then a routine of your choice. And you can just kind of map out what you think your routines will be like each day to help you stick with your plans. On this page, this is another quarterly planning page that will only happen in those quarterly refresh sections. This is your weekly rhythm ideas for the season. This is kind of like your ideal week. If nothing else came up, if there wasn't some random thing happen, if your kid wasn't sick, if, your car didn't break down, all of the things are exactly how they should be. This is what your week could look like. And the purpose of this is just to help you visualize and time block, maybe to see that you have the time to add in those things that you really want to do, and just kind of help you visualize where you can put them throughout the week so that you're getting the things done that you want to be doing that matter the most to you. It's a hourly vertical layout. It starts at 6 a.m. and it ends at 10 p.m. It's a half-hour increment, and you do have a section up here for all day things. One of the ways I would use this on this weekly rhythm ideas is to write like your menu matrix, like what days you might want to be doing crock pot meals or leftovers or takeout and such. That's always really helpful if you're the one that is in charge of feeding your family in your home like I am. Okay, and then next, these are back to the monthly pages that you're gonna find in every month. And one of the things that Cultivate always says that I really think is such a good way to put it is that the tending list is the heartbeat of the system. This is the nitty gritty. This is the thing that you're going to be looking at every single day. And this is just what's really going to help guide you on all of those goals that you set up at the beginning. And so remember, you have that Pace Yourself for Success section where you figured out all of the stuff that you could be doing each month. This is where you would go and find that January or whatever month you're in and find those things and use it as kind of like a cheat sheet of what you're going to put here. But then you have lots of room to continue to break that down even further. And that is one of the main things that I have learned over using this system is that no matter how much you think you've broken it down, try to go one step further and make it one step easier and one smaller. So one smaller thing, because those small steps, the smallest little itty bitty step you could take, every time you accomplish one of those, it just makes it so much easier to continue going with that momentum. So we have plenty of room here to break down those goals into smaller steps. And you have your monthly stuff, your weekly action items and rhythms, and your daily habits. And this is just this is your roadmap. This is what you're going to refer to as you plan each of these like time frames for yourself, just to make sure you're getting those things done. It's your cheat sheet to life. And I really love it. And then at the end, after you have done the whole month of January or whatever month you're in, you have your month in review. And this is what you're going to do before you move on to planning the next month. We have some prompts here for favorite memories, action steps you're proud of, gratitude, goals that are growing well, what's not working, what I read or listened to, and the song on repeat. And then, so here's what a month looks like without all of the quarterly things. You have your monthly reset, your monthly calendar, and your tending list and break it down page, and then your month in review, and you go into the next month. Let's go real quick. Let's flip through the colors on the tabs just so you can see the color scheme for this year. We've got Berry, Snowfall. I don't know the official color for this, but it's like a mustard color for March. We have Leaf on April and Navy on May. And so those are our 5 colors in the colorful, and we go back to Berry, Snowfall, Mustard, Leaf, Navy, Berry, and then Snowfall again for December. So when we're in our quarterly, when we're at the end of the quarter, that's where we're going to get our quarterly planning section. And this is your quarterly refresh. I love the deco here with the beautiful florals. And these are all of your quarterly planning pages. And this has a little bit more than what we saw in the January quarterly planning pages. So let's check that out. We have our quarterly refresh where you can do another cultivated life evaluation for the whole quarter. You have your keep moving forward where you're going to make a plan. You're going to refresh your memory on what you've seen the most growth on and what you might need to focus on a little more in the upcoming quarter. And then you can refresh your goals and take what you've learned about yourself and your goals in that previous quarter and reframe your goals here. Maybe one of them has completely changed. Maybe one of them just isn't going to work in this season of your life and you're removing it. Maybe one just needs to be tweaked a little bit, or maybe you already accomplished one of them. And so you can take it off and kind of like focus on something else in that category. And that's just why we have those pages every quarter, to help you kind of like think that through and recommit to your goals. We have more goal breakdown pages here for the quarter. You have room for 8 goals and 3 action steps for each one. For me, I like to think about each action step being like the main thing you want to focus on for that goal for each month of the quarter. But of course, you can do anything you want here. And then again, you have room for 8 of those. And then here we have that routines page, so you can reframe your routines. Every season might have a different routine. I know for me, the summer season and the fall season routines are completely different because we're on completely different schedules for school or no school, right? And so in my season of life, that's something that really does change. And I do need that routines reset. And then we have a blank notes page. It's dot grid, so you can use that for whatever you want. And then you're going to do your weekly rhythm ideas again. And so again, like for me, back to school is completely different than summertime. You know, we have completely different schedules. And then the spring season is going to be different. Like that winter after Christmas break season is going to have a completely different sports schedule and everything. And so, you know, these change. And so this just gives you an opportunity to kind of reset that. And then you have a dot grid page at the end of each quarter that before you go into the following month. Now, what I wanted to call out here is that let's go back to the page where we have this keep moving forward page at the end of March. At the end of June, you have a different one, and it's got some different learning here. So each quarter you kind of have like a different focus where you can learn to change and grow. And I really like that because it's not just like the same thing repeated all year. So this one is about changing your environment. And then at the end of September in that quarterly refresh, this one is, let's see, this one is about accountability toward your goals. I just think that it was so thoughtful of Cultivate to kind of add different topics each quarter to just kind of help you grow and not get stagnant in what you're learning about yourself and your goals. Okay, and then at the end of the year, at the end of December, we have our year in review. So you go through December like normal, like a normal month, and then you have a dot grid page here, and then you have your year in review, which is another new thing. In previous years, it was like a page with like boxes to fill in. And this is just another fun little roadmap like we saw at the beginning. You can kind of go through all of those month in review and find your very favorite ones and fill all of this stuff in here. And again, those little gold circle stickers will work really well here. You have 3 dot grid notes pages to use however you want, and then that is the end of your planner. And this is fun too. It's a bibliography where you can kind of get some more information about the things that you've learned in your PowerSheets. So that is your new 2026 PowerSheets. And let's take a look at the season by season planners, because this is our goal planner. This is how we're going to set intentional goals for the year. But you also need to plan your weekly and daily lives and all of the things that go on and the tasks and to-dos that you have to do every day that are not just your goals, right? So that's where the season by season planners come in. I have the daily with the snowfall cover, and I have the weekly with the berry cover. And these make really great companions for each other. So like I said, you have a goal planner and you have like a scheduling and task planner. So you could use these together and it wouldn't be redundant. The only pages that would match, that would be like duplicates, would be that monthly calendar. But everything else will be super useful for you. So you still get this beautiful planner box that says season by season on it. And again, this is going to be wrapped in tissue paper with a sticker. And of course, I just already took it out so that I could flip through this before I showed it to you. And we have the beautiful berry cover. And just again, look at how pretty these are together. So good. I really, really like them together. And you have your gold foil detail on the front. One of the things I didn't mention is that you have the gold like wire O binding, and these have protected corners here with this beautiful gold metal like corner protectors. So let's flip through the inside of the season by season weekly planner. And we have a snap-in bookmark, which is really nice to hold your page and also to help you kind of like draw lines down and things while you're scheduling. In the pocket here, we have a set of stickers that's different from the one that we have in the PowerSheets. And then we have the same little card for the year at a glance for 2026, as well as those important dates and holidays. And the sticker sheets are really fun because they're basically the planner stickers, because this is our like scheduling planner, right? And so you have some page flags and hearts, lots of cute little deco for the different seasons, a bunch of stickers for birthdays, and some beautiful florals, as well as these gold foil circles again. And then your name page says season by season weekly planner with a place to write your name, and it does have that gold foil detail as well. And then we have the mission page and the page about seasons, which I really encourage you to read. And then here we have a little roadmap for the year ahead that's similar to the one in the PowerSheets, but it's just a pared down version of goal setting. So even if you didn't use the PowerSheets as your goal setting planner for this year, there are still places in the season by season where you can talk about your goals and kind of map them out a little bit, just not as robust as in the PowerSheets. But what's great is that if you are using them together, you definitely want a place in your planner to put your goals so that you always see them. You don't want to forget about them. Again, out of sight and out of mind is no good, right? We don't want to forget about our goals. And so I love that Cultivate has included a spot to rewrite them. And now I am not a huge fan of rewriting things. That's kind of like one of the things that bugs me the most about tasks is having to rewrite things all the time, but goals are different. Goals, I feel like you could rewrite your goals over and over again, and that's only going to be beneficial and help solidify those in your mind as things that you really want to do. Nobody wants to do the laundry over and over again, but maybe like, you know, writing those big dreams down over and over again is actually so much better than writing down chores, right? Okay, so then those gold foil stickers fit in these just like in the PowerSheets, and then you have the goal pages here for the quarter, and this is your plant good goals page, and each season you're going to have one of these before the season starts. And so of course this one starts January, February, and March, and then you just have a spot to write those goals down. And here's your weekly rhythm ideas, which is very similar to the one we saw in the PowerSheets. It's just a little bigger because of the format of this planner. You've got a little note about winter and the upcoming season, a dot grid page, and your dated monthly calendar. Again, Sunday start, a little prompt up here for you to think about, and a dot grid sidebar. And then you go into the weekly refresh, which is basically your dashboard for the week ahead. This is where you're gonna map out all of those things that you wanna do, the things that you need to do, taking notes when you're on the phone, making your grocery list. There's a spot for gratitude and habits. You have your what's ahead page. You have on my mind and what's ahead, and what matters most this week. So you get this opportunity to do this refresh every single week, and then this will serve as your guiding principle to making your plans. So the weekly format of the season by season is basically a week on 4 pages, because you have your 2 dashboard pages. Over here you have the checklist and a dot grid notes section. And then you turn the page and you have your weekly schedule. And this is an hourly vertical layout that starts at 6 a.m. and ends at 10 p.m. It has half-hour increments with a little lighter line for that, as well as that spot at the top for you to include, you know, what is the all-day thing for that day. And then you have a dot grid sidebar over here. And then that just continues every week. You have your 4 pages for the week for the whole month. And then when you get to the end of the month, you flip into your calendar page, and the tab is over here right on the calendar page. So this one doesn't have those thick pages for tabs like we saw in the PowerSheets, but the tabs are just right here attached to the monthly calendar. So you can flip right through to your month when you're planning. And then again, you go right into your refresh and your next month. And then when we get to the end of that quarter, so this is the last week of that quarter, of quarter 1, and then you turn the page into your new seasonal goal setting pages, and it's the same as you saw in the January section, but this one is just for April, May, and June, and that's how it will be for the whole year. You've got your quarterly pages, your weekly rhythm ideas, and then you have another little note about the next season ahead. And then when you get to the end of the planner, at the end of December, you go through that very last week of December, which is the 28th through January 3rd. And you have that full week here, and then you turn the page into your year in review, and this is just like in the PowerSheets, which is so much fun. And then you have lined notes pages, which are beautiful. So you have 2, 4, 6, 7 lined notes pages here for you to use however you wish. And then you have like another note about seasons and the end page, and that is the end of your season by season weekly. And let's go ahead now and look at the season by season daily. So again, both of the season by season formats, the weekly and the daily, are both available in each of these colors. So you can get the weekly in Berry or Snowfall, and you can get the daily in Berry or Snowfall. And again, this is very similar. It has the the gold foil detail, the wire O binding, and the gold corner protectors. And you can see that this is just a smaller format here, but it's a lot thicker because you have pages for daily planning. And so let's flip through this real quick. The sticker sheet and the card, the year at a glance card, are the same. And you have your clear snap-in ruler bookmark, your name page, and everything in here is the same. It's just smaller than what we flipped through in the weekly. And so I'm not going to flip through all of that. I'm just going to show you how the planning has changed for daily versus weekly. So on the weekly refreshes, instead of having that 2 pages, you have your what's ahead and your on your mind and your habits here and what matters most this week. So this is going to be before Monday every week, and then you go right into your daily pages, which is that same hourly format that you saw in the weekly. It's just half of your page here. It's 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. with half-hour increments divided by a line, and that 4-line section for like your full day thing. It says Monday and the date over here, so you have your day of the week on the left and your date on the right, a box for your priority, and a long checklist, and just some prompt that you can fill out at the end of each day. And so then you have, Tuesday and Wednesday, Thursday and Friday, and then on the weekends you have stacked Saturday and Sunday. And now these just have 2 columns, and there really is plenty of room here to fill things in for checklists or just things that, on Sunday, 2 hours at church or some grocery shopping or something. You can fit all of that kind of stuff in, and then your gratitude is at the end of the weekend here. So then you have your weekly refresh, and then your Monday and Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday and the weekend, and then it goes back into, this format. And then on the weeks where your weekend pages fall on this side, at the end of the month, you'll get a dot grid page here, so that's a little bonus. You go into the next month and right into your weekly refresh and then your daily pages, and then over here, the next month, the Saturday and Sunday falls on this side, and then you go right into the calendar. Now, at the end of your quarters, you do have those quarterly planning pages again. And so this is the last week of that month. And then you have your planting good goals, just like you saw in the weekly, your weekly rhythm ideas, a note about the new season, a dot grid page, and then back into your monthly spread. So then we go all the way to the back here, and at the end of December, we have the full week of pages, so it doesn't end on December 31st. It actually ends on January 3rd, and then you have a dot grid page here, your year in review, and then you have lined notes pages. You have 4 lined notes pages, and then your seasonal note here. So that is your season by season daily planner. But there is a third option for planners that kind of marries both of these formats together into one book. So that is the Fresh Start system. These don't come in boxes, and these are a little bit different in that they are undated, so that you can use them anytime, and they might be really good for someone who's new to goal setting, who might feel a little bit overwhelmed with all of the prep work and the thinking of annual goals for a whole year in here. There still is prep work in here. It's just for the quarter. It's a 90-day thing, a seasonal thing, instead of for the whole year. But it also includes daily or weekly planning pages with that goal setting system in one book. So if you're thinking you want to dive more into goals than what the season by season has, but you really do want the weekly or the daily planning pages, the Fresh Start might be for you. The difference is that these are quarterly and that they are undated. The other difference is that we have rounded corners on these and no tabs because they're undated. So the layout of the planning pages of these is the same, it's just undated. So again, with the daily, it looks just like the daily pages of the season by season. It just doesn't have a date, but you have a spot to fill in the date up here and circle the day of the week. But everything else on the page is the same, and the same with the weekly, which we'll flip through in just a second. But let me show you what else else the Fresh Start includes. So the Fresh Start has a snap-in bookmark, no pocket here. You have a spot to write your name, and because it's undated, it doesn't say 2026. And then you have just some information on how to use this planner, and it's very similar to the PowerSheets. So all of the stuff that you're going to find at the beginning of this book is very much like your annual prep work, except it's changed to reflect that it's just for one season. And so you have your roadmap, and you have all of this like prep work type stuff that you saw in the PowerSheets. So if you really wanted the goal setting system and the daily planning pages in one book, this might be the book for you, because you have all of that prep work, and you get to do this every season if you want to. And then the difference here is that you have your goals for the season instead of for the year, and then you have your goal action plans, which are broken down into the 3 months of that season, instead of where we saw in the PowerSheets it had seasons 1, 2, 3, and 4. And so you have your 8 goal action pages here, and then you have your live it out, your word of the year pages, your weekly rhythm ideas, and then you go into the month. So because it's undated, we don't have those tab pages, but you do have extra notes page instead of a tabbed page. So you have your dot grid over here and a blank space here, as well as a spot to write the month, and you go into your undated monthly calendar with a dot grid sidebar, and you get your monthly reset and attending list. So it's the weekly or daily planning pages and a tending list, whereas the season by season doesn't have that tending list. Here you have your monthly projects and your weekly rhythms, but there's not a daily habit tracker the way there are in the PowerSheets, and I will show you why in a second. We have a blank page and a dot grid notes page, and then you have your weekly reset like you saw in the season by season, and this is where your habits are. So since you have the habits on this page, they are not included on the tending list page. Cultivate does have a notepad that you could track your habits in a monthly format, and that would be really nice to just kind of like washi tape in onto one of these extra pages here if you want to see them all together in the month. And then, so you have your weekly refresh, and then you go into your daily planning pages, just like we looked at in the Fresh Start. And then each month has a different color. So the first month in here was the berry color, and then the next month is the snowfall color, and the third month is the leaf color. And then at the end of the season, you have that season at a glance. That looks like that annual review that we saw at the end of the PowerSheets, but of course this is just for the season. And then you have 1, 2 dot grid notes pages back here, and the end page with the bibliography. And that is your quarterly goal planner and schedule planner. The weekly one is the same as the weekly season by season, married with the PowerSheet. So it's just like the same like we saw in the daily planner. You have your snap-in bookmark, and you have all of the prep work at the beginning for your seasonal goals, and then you go into your weekly rhythms, and here are your monthly pages and your monthly calendar that's undated, and your monthly reset and your tending list. Again, you don't have the daily habits on here, but those are included on your weekly refresh over here. And so this is that week on 4 pages format like we saw in the weekly season by season, where you have like your dashboard and checklist, and then you have your 2-page hourly spread. Again, this is just not dated, but you have plenty of room to add the dates in. And that's how it goes through the whole planner. It's set up the same way with the berry for the first month, snowfall for the second month, and leaf for the third month. And then at the end, we have the seasonal roadmap and more dot grid notes here. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 dot grid notes pages, and your end page. So those are all of your planners. One of the most common questions is, which ones do I need, right? So most people are not going to have both the annual PowerSheets and the 90-day fresh starts because they both have that very robust goal setting prep work in them. So most people are going to choose one or the other, either PowerSheets or Fresh Start. And then the companion planner, which is the season by season. So you might choose the goal setting weekly Fresh Start with the daily scheduling of the season by season, or you might choose the goal setting in the annual PowerSheets with the weekly planning in the season by season. Most people aren't going to need all three styles. However, sometimes you might have that one goal that you really need to focus hard on in that quarter. And so that might be a time where you might want to check out grabbing one of these undated quarterly goal planners. To maybe you're going back to school, you're a student, or maybe you have a huge work project that you really need to kind of it's going to take extra planning, and it has different moving parts and different projects within each one. That might be a reason to have all of three, but for your whole year, it's probably best to pick one or the other as far as PowerSheets or Fresh Start. And then of course, pick your favorite format for your scheduling and task planning in the season by season. I just wanted to let you know that I have tons of planning in my PowerSheets on my channel, so you can see how I use those, as well as setting up my tending lists and quarterly refreshes, and I include prep work as well, so make sure you're checking out that playlist, which I will link above. I also am going to have a full blog post outlining all of this stuff, so I know this is a whole lot of information, and we haven't even finished it all yet. So just don't be too overwhelmed. You can always check that blog post to kind of refresh your memory about what I said, so you don't have to rewatch this whole long video all over again. And when launch day happens, which is September 16th at 10 a.m. Eastern, right around that time is the time that I will be doing my quarterly refresh for the end of September. And so you can kind of get an idea of what that's like as well, right before you purchase your PowerSheets. Okay, so now that we've gone through all of the main books that we have in our Cultivate PowerSheets launch for 2026, let's talk about accessories. Like I said at the beginning, the colors that we have here in the new collection all match back to the colors of the things that we already know and love available on the site. So some of the new additions for this launch, we have this free gift with purchase during launch week. This is a cute tote bag that says Cultivate What Matters in every season, and this is just the perfect little bag that will hold all of your books and notepads and sticky notes and markers and pens and things, and so you can tote it from wherever you keep them stored to wherever you're going to be working on your goals. And that is available for purchase, but it's also a free gift with your purchase during launch week. The other accessories that I have here are the goal setting sticker book and the refresh brain dump journal. I love this thing. If you've been around my channel for a while, you know how much I love it. I have a full review of this on my channel, which I will link as well, and it will be linked in the blog post. But this is a new cover option for this year, and it's the navy blue, which I, of course, love. It's one of my favorite colors, if you can't tell by looking at my logo and such. And then we also have the goal setting sticker book. So the refresh brain dump journal has not changed on the inside, so if you're already familiar with it, the only thing that's different is just the coloring. Of course, the navy matches back to the cover. But if you want to know more about what's inside this book and how I've used it, make sure you check out the blog post where I've linked those videos for you so that you can get a much deeper dive into what this book is all about and how you can use it to really enhance all of your goal setting and planning needs throughout the whole year. And then we have the goal setting sticker book. This is the new sticker book for 2026, and it's got the beautiful navy blooms cover, and we have pages and pages of stickers. There are no repeats except for some of the functional stickers like the dots and the flags. I love this page because it gives you enough stickers for you to work on your prep work and your monthly resets and quarterly refreshes. You've got little little tiny banner flags and page flag and the little signature sprout there. We've got a full page of stickers for Tending List Tuesday so that you can put them all over your planner every week. Tending List Tuesday is just like a day where you are encouraged to post your tending list, a picture of it in the Facebook group, or share it on Instagram and tag Cultivate and use the hashtag Tending List Tuesday or TLT. I use both. It's just a way to share with the community and try to have a little bit of accountability towards your goals, and you can actually schedule that into your planner with these stickers. And these are the progress bar stickers that fit in that space on your monthly section of your tending list. They say I made progress and hooray I did it in all different colors. We have these gold page flags. This is to help you call out things that you notice in your prep work and your planning pages so that you notice them when you're flipping through. And then these are the color coding page flags that match back to those cultivated life evaluation categories. You have 2 pages of those. These are hard to see, but they are dots, and these are just a bunch of dots for each of these colors. You have 2 pages of these. They also match back to your cultivated life evaluation categories. And then you have a page of hearts, so similar to the dots, but these are just heart-shaped. We have gold prioritizing page flags that say my priority and make it happen, and this is important. They point both directions. And then more page flags that match the categories, and these say I love this, do this, grateful for this, and today's win, again pointing in both directions. We have some icons for celebrating progress, such as little banner flags with hearts and stars, some little party popper noisemaker things, and the signature sprout, and some scripts that say celebrate, hooray, I did it, Yahoo, and yay. More progress celebrating with gold stars and medals and ribbons and trophies. We have 2 pages of encouraging quotes. These are really good to put at the top of your tending list. If you are like me and sometimes struggle with what to write up there in the encouraging words section, this is the super simple, easy answer to that. You can grab whatever is speaking to you off of these pages and stick that up there. And then we have some more icon stickers for planning and such with bills and family things and cleaning, health and wellness, work and learning, and a page of beautiful florals. So that is your goal setting sticker book. And then the very last thing that I can't really show you because it's not really super tangible, but I have joined Goal School Premium for 2026. I've been a member of GSP for the last 2 years. It has been a really great accountability group. There's a private Facebook group to speak with other members of Goal School. We have monthly learning and monthly prep parties for setting up your tending list. So if you're someone that kind of gets overwhelmed with the idea of doing this every single month, the prep parties are really great because it's just a fun opportunity to talk about your goals and to chat with other people going through the same thing as you. And it just helps kind of just connect with other people so that you know you're not alone. And then the monthly learning calls every month, these are over Zoom. The monthly learning calls every month are really good. This past year they've had some guest speakers, and it's just like a nice way to just kind of like reframe your thought process or learn something new about setting goals or sticking to goals. There's a dashboard that's attached to the Cultivate site where members can log in and see the syllabus for the upcoming classes, as well as free printable wildcards. And I really love using those wildcards. If Goal School Premium sounds right for you, signing up during launch season is going to be the best deal for you. And if you purchase your Goal School Premium membership in the same order where you purchase your PowerSheets or your Fresh Start Goal Planner, you'll get a free pack of stickers that is themed for Goal School. And these are exclusive for these freebies. You can't purchase these. And they're so cute and fun. I really love the washi here that says Prep Week because you get to put that in your planner in December when you're prepping your PowerSheets for the upcoming year. And that's another part of the Goal School Premium membership is there are guided live videos to walk you through setting up all of your prep work to prepare for your goals for the upcoming year. Lots of cute stickers on here, so make sure if you're interested in purchasing a Goal School Premium membership, you do that at the same time as purchasing your goal planner, and do that during the launch season so you can get the best deal. Okay, so I think that's kind of it. And I know this was a lot of information. Please don't feel overwhelmed with it. It seems like a lot, but I would love to help you figure out which of these books or set of books is right for you. If you want to comment on this video or go check out the blog and leave me a comment there or use my contact form, I'm really happy to help you figure out which one is right for you. It's really fun for me to help people figure out the planners that are right for them. And so if that's something that interests you, I'm happy to help. Make sure you leave a comment and let me know. It does take me a while to get through my comments, but I will try to get through any of these PowerSheets questions before launch day so that you can take advantage of the deals. If you decide to shop any of these products, I would be so grateful if you used my affiliate link. And of course, don't forget to use the coupon code so that you can save your extra 10% and get the best deal you can. So that is a full look at the full 2026 PowerSheets collection. I know it can feel like a lot, but remember, the goal here is not to create the perfect planner. It's to find a simple tool that helps you make a little bit of progress on what truly matters. It's all about progress, not about perfection. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you really liked it, please consider subscribing because I post videos like this on my channel. And if you liked this one, you'll probably like those ones too. And I'd love to see you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.